Step one, wake up early, gonna rise with the sun. Step two, get some good, some food in you. Step three, think real hard about what you wanna be. Step four, everybody just do your thing.
Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 Wake up, today's gonna be a good day.
Good morning, and welcome to Good Morning Crypto, where we turn your early hours in the morning into your edge in financial freedom. Today, I've got a little headline about MicroStrategies and their introduction into the NASDAQ 100 stock composite. It is a potential thing that should be happening later this month, and we'll dive on into that once we get to that headline. But let's dive in today and get you prepped for success, because I missed yesterday. I was a little bit sick. So I've got the stock heat map pulled up, and we've got Apple sitting down at 0.52%, but in the pre-market is sitting up at 0.26% right now. We have Nvidia sitting up nicely, up 3.14 from yesterday, and the pre-market taking back a little bit of those gains, down 0.29 right now. We do have Berkshire Hathaway is sitting neutral, down 0.24%, and in the pre-market is sitting down 0.1%. Amazon still doing nicely, taking back some of those losses that it had from the other day, up 2.32%, and in the pre-market is down 0.33% right now. Eli Lilly is sitting neutral, down 0.44%, and in the pre-market continuing some of those losses, down 0.35%. We do have ExxonMobil, which is sitting down 0.67%, but in the pre-market, taking back a little bit of those losses, up 0.15% right now. Tesla doing pretty nicely, up 5.93%. In the pre-market, continuing on those gains, up 0.57%. Microsoft is also doing pretty nicely, up 1.28%, and in the pre-market, up 0.44%. We did get some big news coming out of Google yesterday. They are manufacturing a new chip, which has a lot of potential for quantum computing, and that's something that's going to be in the works for them going into the next year. And they got a nice little move off of that, up 5.46%, and in the pre-market continuing those gains, up 0.33% right now. Meta is also in the green, up 2.16%, and in the pre-market up 0.09% right now. Crypto side of things is sitting pretty nicely. We do have Bitcoin down 0.65%, but still holding nice in that $100,000 range. We do have Ethereum up 2.28%. XRP is sitting up 0.66%. We've got Solana up 1.17%. We've got BNB up 0.5% right now. Toncoin is sitting neutral, up 0.43%. Shiba Inu also sitting pretty neutral, down just 0.5%. We have Chainlink off of a massive tear, up to $28 and up 16.34%. We've got Avalanche sitting up nice as well, up 2.96%. Tron Coin is sitting up nice as well, up 5.48%. Dogecoin taking a little retracement, just the same as Bitcoin, down 0.6%, still holding nice in that 40-cent range. We do have Cardano, which is sitting up nicely as well. It is up 4.93% for the day. Uniswap, another one that I have my eye on sometimes, is sitting up nicely, up 7.94%. Let's hop over to the economic calendar, because that's going to be a big one for today. We did get our inflation data coming in yesterday, and after we got some sell-off at the beginning of the week, I figured that the data, no matter it being mixed or coming in just a little bit different than expected, but came out as forecasted, would be bullish. So if we are online today, I think the market might see it as a little bit bullish, especially since we got all of that sell-off to decent ranges that people would have wanted to see and decent buying points to really move things up off of the data. We did see that push up to above $100,000 yesterday, right off of that data. So to see a mixed bag today be taken the same way would not be too unexpected. We do have core PPI coming out month over month and year over year, continuing jobless claims, which is looking like it's going to be ticking up just a little bit. We do have PPI month over month and year over year as well. That will be coming out at 8:30 Eastern time. So that's going to be the big data for today. We do have some data coming out of the European Union. European central banks are doing economic press and a press conference and an economic projections. So that's going to be the big news out of Europe for the day. A little bit later in the day, we will get a 30-year bond auction, which will be a nice little gauge on how the long term is being looked at for America. And then we do have out of Japan at 6:50 Eastern time, the Taiwan Large Manufacturers Index, and that will be the doozy for the Asia markets coming in to the evening. Other than that, we don't really have any super heavy data on today. So all eyes will be on core PPI and PPI for today. Let me hop over to that Bitcoin chart real quick. As you can kind of see, we got that bounce off of our midline of our fair value gap from the other day and continue that move back above our trend line that we've had drawn for a little while. Sometimes trend lines don't always get respected. We do like to break to the downside of them for just a brief second to kind of worry people, because when you see it break below support for just a second, a lot of people like to hit that sell button. I, on the other hand, like to wait for it to get to that range that I've been looking at and click the buy button, because you don't always see those prices for quite a while. We did get that move up above our platinum pocket, and that's that $99,000 range, and we're sitting nicely about $100,500. Looking like we might have a little bit of pullback to the downside this morning. As you can see, our money flow just ticked red. It's nothing heavy, just some light red. So a little bit of some downside action before we get a data drop is not too unexpected. But I would have my eye on some higher price targets. Let me pull up the crypto heat map and the fear and greed. I forgot to do that this morning. Give me just a second. We have our fear and greed. And then let me pull up the heat map real quick. There we go. So for the stock side of things, we're sitting at 51 and neutral. And on the crypto side of things, up 9 points and back to extreme greed, which is definitely not unexpected when we are now sitting back above that $100,000 range. Definitely showing some greed in the market and some points where we could potentially see another bit of a little sell-off before we really get that boost up before Christmas time. On our liquidation heat map, we do have two hot spots on either side of us. That's going to be at that 99, 200 range, and on the top side at that 101 and 800, almost at that 900 range for the 101,000. If you zoom it on out to that 3-day to kind of get a gauge of what the rest of the week might look like, we do have all of the hot spots sitting above us at that 100 101,900 and all the way up to about 102,500. So most of that liquidity is still piling up to the top side of us and just liquidating for the top side before moving back down to juicy buy ranges. If you zoom it on out just a little bit, take a look at that 2-week chart. You can kind of see that all of the liquidity is really piling up to the top side. We've got liquidity up at that same range, the 101,900, and all the way up to that same range, about 102,500. So most of the liquidity still piling up to the top side of us, and a nice little move for those market makers to make. Let me say hello to the chat this morning. We've got Indie Rock Crypto in here with the Lubya Brubya. Good morning, Indie Rock Crypto. Hope you're having a great Thursday. We've got Baba Yaz in here, another day in paradise. Good morning, good morning. And Arsan246 in here. Good morning, good morning. Hope you're having a great Thursday as well. Let me drop it down to a little bit of a lower time frame on that Bitcoin chart to kind of show y'all what I was looking at in correlation with that crypto heat map. As you can kind of see here, you do have your money flow on a 15-minute chart, which is decently red. You have a reversal signal that is played out, but you do have some divergences here that have really yet to play out. It's been more of a sideways move on that divergence. And as you can kind of see from that crypto heat map, and onto this chart, that 99,000 range, which is the bottom side of things, is that 99 and right in line with that platinum pocket. And it's an area we've needed to turn into some support if we really want to hold this $100,000 range. It is that quick bounce up and down that we've been seeing over and over. We go up to that $100,000, but we do not maintain that platinum pocket as support. And if we really want to hold that $100,000 range, we're going to need to hold this platinum pocket as support. As you can continuously see, when we move through it quick and up to that $100,000 range and never turn this into some support. If you move it on back here, you can kind of see we move through it quickly, we come back down, we move through it quickly, try to turn it into some support, but end up breaking to the bottom side of it. And this is why we continuously drop back below that $100,000 range. If you zoom it on back just a little further, you can kind of see here, this platinum pocket is an area that we continuously bounce up against, but are never able to hold. And if we really want to hold that $100,000 price, we are going to need to turn that 99,000 into some support. All right, then. Let's take a look at that MACD. As you can kind of see, we do have a little bit of some curvature on the bottom side of things and are looking for a potential cross on the bottom side. But with our money flow looking extremely red here and just two reversal signals showing with more sideways movement, I would look at a little bit of some bear action. You can kind of see here, we are making some equal highs from back here, which could easily be taken out here in a second. In the beginning of the morning, before we really make that move to the downside. If you zoomed it back on out to that 1 hour, that's where that money flow had just ticked red. So we're really going to need to see that liquidity coming in. And I think it will be around that PPI data drop where we really see liquidity change in the market and push us up a little bit higher. Bouncing up against some of these highs that we had made back here, that 102,000, which was in line with our liquidation heat map, and to the top side if we really get that liquidity to that $103,000 mark. But we're really going to need to see the market be extremely bullish off of PPI. I do see Al Jr. in here. Got here a bit late, but good morning, Al Jr. He said, my 12-hour and my 24 liquidation heat map is glowing below. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And it's right in line with that platinum pocket that I've wanted to see turned into some support before we really try and hold this $100,000 range. It's right in line with our liquidations, and that's that 99,000, about 100. Let me hop over to my article real quick. This will be a big one for crypto. It is MicroStrategy's to enter NASDAQ 100 this month, claims ETF analyst. According to Eric Balchunas and James Seyfart, two respected ETF analysts, MicroStrategies may soon enter the NASDAQ 100. MicroStrategies is still classified as a tech stock, circumventing the restriction that finance companies are ineligible. If this prediction comes true, it will take place this Friday for a listing on December 23rd. MicroStrategies on the NASDAQ 100. Balchunas first declared this prediction via social media post yesterday, claiming that MicroStrategies would replace Moderna, a COVID-19 vaccine manufacturer. Driven by its consecutive Bitcoin purchases, MicroStrategies stock price has been surging and has recently become one of the top 100 publicly traded U.S. companies. However, NASDAQ must approve it to be on the list. As you can kind of see here, we have MicroStrategies, which has moved up pretty nicely above Moderna, Supermicro Computer, and Axon Enterprise Incorporated. And they're sitting right at that point where they have broken into the 100 and could be a part of that NASDAQ composite. As a publicly traded company, NASDAQ has limited entries to the crypto industry in recent years. Last year, the SEC halted its plan to launch a crypto custody business, and the exchange hasn't publicly discussed restarting them. In August, it did facilitate BlackRock's efforts to get options trading on its Ethereum ETF. Beyond that, however, NASDAQ has been quiet on the crypto front. Meanwhile, James Seyfart concurred with Balchunas' opinions via another post. He pointed out that the NASDAQ does not permit finance companies to be on its list, and MicroStrategies may technically qualify. The company's fate is inexorably tied to Bitcoin's performance and thus is arguably a finance company. However, it's currently listed as a tech stock and can't be reassessed until March. Here are the dates for ICP industrial classification benchmarks reclassification. So unless they've already started the process of reclassifying MicroStrategies as a financial stock, we think it should be in. They said, "This is a primary risk for not getting included, in my opinion," Seyfart claimed. Indeed, MicroStrategies is one of the world's largest Bitcoin whales, but the firm started as a tech company. Even though it routinely invests huge amounts of capital into Bitcoin, which contributed primarily to its 500% stock market growth this year, MicroStrategies is still a tech stock in NASDAQ's consideration. As you can kind of see here, here's the MicroStrategies chart, and they are doing quite nicely. Ultimately, this is only a prediction, albeit one from two seasoned ETF analysts, and in any event, there are important deadlines to consider. If MicroStrategies is entering the NASDAQ 100, the announcement will come by end of week. And this is a doozy for crypto. This means that if you end up buying the NASDAQ 100, which is a stock composite of the top 100 assets on the NASDAQ, you will ultimately be purchasing a little bit of MicroStrategies, which also then would be buying Bitcoin. And this is what we want to see for continued mass adoption. And this will also be part of one of the best performing assets that someone will hold in that NASDAQ 100. It will perform extremely nicely against some of these other assets. You do have your top 7, which are going to be in there, and haven't really been performing as nicely against MicroStrategies as we would like to see, especially in current economic conditions. And as we have other companies that are going to be investing in Bitcoin, potentially investing in Bitcoin, like Amazon, more mass adoption is what you'd like to see. It puts a higher floor when we get to that bear market, because MicroStrategies isn't going to sell. Amazon's not going to care if they are spending 5% of their company, 5% of their earnings, and putting it into Bitcoin, like their investors have proposed for them to do. This raises the floor for the Bitcoin bear market and pushes us up to a higher potential for this market. And we're going to have to keep our eyes on this. As it says, the announcement will come by the end of the week. And if it is approved, we'll be trading next week before the holiday season. So just something to keep your eye on. MicroStrategies might be pushing up as the #1 Bitcoin stock here into that NASDAQ 100. I don't know if anyone has any assets they'd like me to very quickly look at. I only have 10 more minutes to go. So throw those in the chat for me real quick if you would like me to take a very, very quick look at those. I did have gold that I've been looking at for this past week because we were going to get that inflation data, and when inflation data isn't looking extremely nice, you do see a move on gold sometimes. And as I've talked about, I wanted to see that move up above our fair value gap, which we had been sitting in for quite a while. As you can kind of see here, it was created on a move down, and to our 0 line, we got some decent bounces before bouncing around in our fair value gap. I said that I wanted to see us a push up above this 236, turn it into some support, very quickly see that 382 turned into support before we really move out of that range. And we did it extremely nicely. Off of that inflation data that we got yesterday, we did see a bit of some sell-off here, and we're now sitting below the platinum pocket for our morning. We did turn that golden pocket into some nice support though, so seeing a bounce down here where we have some equal candle bodies at about 2,700 would be a nice little move to make, especially if people are still a little bit worried about the economy. Other than that, I didn't really have any other things I was looking on that TradFi side of things. I do see a request for Sol and a request for Link. So let's hop on over to that and take a look at Sol first. I know I haven't been able to look at it for a little while here. So let's zoom it on out. We are on a daily view. Let's get rid of that. As you can kind of see here, I had a resistance line that I'd had drawn up for quite a while, and we finally moved to the upside of that, as well as breaking above here on our platinum pocket. I'm going to have to adjust some of those colors on that. I don't know why it's out of line. That should be gold, and that should be green. There we go there. There's our golden pocket sitting right below us. As you can kind of see here, if you zoom it on in just a little bit and drop it down to a lower time frame, we are respecting our trend line extremely nicely. You do get some wicks below it. You have some candle bodies that drop below it for a brief second, but for the most part, this is a pretty nice held trend line. You do see us sitting above that platinum pocket, which is $216, and could very easily be bounced off of again. You are seeing your money flow being extremely nice on that 4 hour though, but you are getting at that point where you're going to start seeing some topping signals, as most of this is lower highs and lower lows. Seeing that trend reverse is going to be what we want to see. and making some support above that trend line at that 216 would be a start to that move. Let's zoom in on just a little bit and see what that hourly is looking like. You do have your money flow still sitting very nicely, but we're stacking up those divergences. Just ticked red on that prime oscillator as we've been moving sideways, and looking sideways on that MACD as well. Let me move that up just a little bit so you can kind of get a better view. We're moving very sideways on that MACD as price is moving sideways. Looking to see how that's going to break though. Let's zoom it on in just a little bit more to kind of gauge how that break might happen. As you can kind of see here, your money flow on the shorter term time frames is waffling back and forth from inflows to outflows. So that's meaning that there's not a lot of liquidity either way to drive price. So we're really looking for that point where we can kind of reverse trend. On the more macro, you do have the micro, which has reverse trend just a little bit. You can kind of see the higher highs and the higher lows as well. But it looks like from those higher term time frames as well as the low liquidity that we might be bumping up against a local resistance. As you can kind of see here, we are faltering right around previous highs from the move down, and have yet to really break above that. So we're going to need to make some support here in this range if we really want to continue that move to the upside. But if we do see that PPI data taken as extremely bullish, I would look at Sol breaking above here, coming up to some of the lows that we'd seen back here, and or the highs back here, about that 240 range. On the bottom side, we do have that 234 range. So about a $5 move there for the bottom side, and a decent upside target to the top side. As you can kind of see, if we zoom it on in there, it is a range which we held nicely for about a day and a half, with the bottom side being that 234 and the top side being that 238. And we've got a small little wick up above that to that 239 range. So a few little upside targets there if that PPI data is looked at as extremely bullish. We're just going to wait for that liquidity to really come back in here, and we're going to need to turn some of the local areas right here at that bottom side, that 234, into some support here before we really break on above, because we have been bumping against that 233 range and not being able to hold it. So if we do get that move down, we do have that platinum pocket, which is still very untested as support as well. And that would be more of something that I wouldn't be looking for over the short term, would be more of a long-term move. I did say, I did see Link. Yeah, I skipped your request username. I've never looked at that asset before, and I'm not trying to start on something new today. Also, it looked a little bit dirty, and I didn't want to say something nasty on the show. I'm kidding. I have no problem saying it, but I just don't have the time to dive into a completely new asset for today. I do see Wick589 saying that, yeah, show him the money. Lunar Beaches, where's my money, BC? You'll have to let me know what you're talking about there. Let's see. Saying username, bet if I said injective, BC would have done it. I might have, but that's only because I got a decent little move there, and your coin requests sounds a bit memey, so I'll have to take a look at it today, so I'm not completely unprepared for your requests, and I'll take a look at it tomorrow. We are sitting above all of these fib retracement lines that I've had drawn out for quite a while now. Let's zoom it on out to the daily to kind of get a better little view here. As you can kind of see, we've ignored a bunch of the fair value gaps to the bottom side on our move to the top. We completely blasted above that 236 and have now moved outside of the range. So gonna have to get rid of that fib retracement that I've had drawn out for quite a while. It was the move from the top side, from the bottom side to the top side back here. So really looking for some new price targets here on Link. Let me draw out a little bit of a fib extension. This isn't new price discovery, but kind of gauge what we might see. Some bouncing points in the meantime. If you take it from the high, the low to the high to the low, you can kind of see here we are sitting right below that platinum pocket, as you're getting some reversal signals there as well, and needing to see that golden pocket really turned into some support, because that's been the area of contention. As you see back here, we got very quick wicks to the above it and to it before we started seeing sell-off. We got bouncing off of it extremely nicely over here. We're unable to hold that range before really dropping back down extremely hard. We do have your golden pocket being that $26.24. So nice little pullback before continuation. As you can kind of see, all of this is a fair value gap as well. Let me delete these fair value gaps to the bottom side of us, because I don't think those are in play in current times, as we have been extremely bullish. Let me draw out this new fair value gap that we've got going on here. As you can kind of see, most of this is going to be a fair value gap, and we are pushing back in it. You do have a potential bouncing point right to the bottom side of that as well. Let's move those lines and extend them out to the right so you can kind of see it a little more. As you can kind of see, there is a potential bouncing point for the midline of that, and that's going to be that $25.85, which could be a little bouncing point if we break below that golden pocket on the extension. This whole area is very open for retesting, and as you can see on your higher term time frames, you are getting that reversal signal. Your MACD is starting to get some curvature, and your money flow is nice light red there, so very easily could switch on over. That 1 hour though is sitting pretty green, but you're looking at a little bit of some reversal signals. You've got heavily overbought signals showing, and a reversal signal with your prime oscillator red, and that MACD looking to cross here within the morning, as we are breaking into the fair value gap. Let's zoom it on just a little bit more to kind of see what that lower term time frame liquidity is looking like, and it is decently red. Starting to tick a little bit lower though, so just looking to see that liquidity really come back in to pull us up. And as I've said for our other assets, looking for that PPI data to be the move. As you can kind of see here on our 15-minute, we are making lower highs and lower lows, so going to need to reverse that trend and just look for that bouncing point for a continuation of our move to the upside. That's going to be that $26 and 20-ish cents for the top side, and we do have that bottom side $25 and about 85 cents for the bottom side of things. So just something to keep your eye on. You do have your MACD, which is showing reversal signals, but with your money flow still looking so red, I would look for those downside targets. All right, let's hop over to chat real quick before I end up heading on out for the day. We do see Uh, Alexandra G in here. Good morning, Alexandra G. Let's scroll up just a little bit. Jesse Gulak in here saying good morning to the lovely people. Good morning, Jesse. We've got Wick 589, Jerry Maguire, baby. I'm not sure what that's about. I'm not sure what I missed in the chat. Oh my goodness. We've got Uncle Jesse last night was too much fun from username. Way too much, says Jesse. Almost pissed my pants with Darth Vader. Darth Vader. I'm not. What did I miss? All right. We said let's get him a new mic or mic cord. Is that to do with LBC's show? I don't know what's going on. Do I need to go back and watch his show? Oh my God. Wick 589. Jesse had a banger, eh? Username saying Uncle Jesse, the RFK laugh was epic. Good morning, Alexandra G from username. Hopefully you have some coffee and BC won't do TA on my request. I will take a look at it today and do your request tomorrow. I don't have time. I gotta go. All right. And Jesse Gulak saying watch it. So I'm guessing it's from Markets After Dark last night. Well, I hope everyone has a great Thursday today. And if you haven't hit that like button for me, go ahead and hit that like button. If you're not subscribed to the channel and you're new here and you like what you see, we have other shows here as well. We've got the morning market report with Piper and OC Guy. So tune into that one every day, every Monday through Friday at 8:30 or 9:30 a.m. Eastern time. We do have our Trade Academy with Trade Intuition that comes on every afternoon, Monday through Friday at 4 p.m. Eastern time. We do have also our Crypto Nightcap with FD White and TradeFly, which comes on every evening at 8:30 Eastern time. And the Markets After Dark with Lunar Beaches Crypto. That's every evening at 11 p.m. Eastern time. Oh, they're saying it was on Nightcap, so I'm going to have to go back and watch that one. I was not feeling well yesterday, and I didn't watch any shows, so I'll have to check that one out. I hope everyone has a great Thursday. Make sure to tune in to that morning market report where Piper breaks down that PPI data I talked about today. We are going to be seeing that at 8:30 Eastern time. So trade safe this morning because it might go in both directions there and be a little bit dangerous. Other than that, everyone wake up because today's going to be a good day.